So we're gonna finish up the story of Jacob today. Um, yeah, we left off with him having all those kids and stuff like that, and they're gonna play a part later in the story. But the ending of the story is it's just not really a lot of interesting things that go on to me. I'll go ahead and run down what happens at the end of Jacob's story. So he basically has all the kids. A little while after that, he starts to realize that after 14 plus years, that Rachel's dad has been playing him or whatever like that, and he's kind of fed up at this point, and he's ready to leave that land of Laban. Well, Laban doesn't want him to leave because he's got God's blessing on him, and he's been profitable since Jacob's been there. So he doesn't want him to leave. Jacob's fed up and he's ready to leave, so he's packing all this stuff. They have some dispute over some goats. You can read into that if you want to. It's very boring to me, but some kind of way Jacob finesses him out of his goats, and he leaves Laban with the bad goats, and Jacob keeps the good goats. But they say in the Bible that Jacob's name means deceiver, so he's just good at deceiving. He's been doing this his whole life. From his brother Esau, he's just been tricking people. He just does that. But in this situation, I think that one of the morals of this story was that even Laban was able to trick him and finesse him, because to make a parody of the fact that Jacob's the one that does these type of things. Anyways, so they have that dispute over the goats. After that, Jacob's really ready to go now, so he takes his 10 or 12 kids and his wives, all 4 of them. He packs them up and they leave. And they head out, and Laban follows them. He doesn't want them to leave. In fact, he believes that some of his stuff has been stolen, which it has. He doesn't end up recovering it, because even when they pitch tents somewhere down the road, and even when they run into the camp, they're still not able to find the things that were stolen from him. So, he has to let them go. Like I said, I'm just running you down what happens at the end of the story. It's not a lot of interesting stuff to me. After that, he gets wind from some of his servants or soldiers or whatever that his brother Esau, knows, that he's coming the same way that they're going, so they're eventually gonna run into each other, and there's this whole anxiety with Jacob about what reuniting with his brother is gonna be like, because he know that he tricked him out of his birthright, and he doesn't know what kind of life Esau has had, and you know what I'm saying. So he's kind of worried about that. And it ends up being that there wasn't any beef between them when they reconnect. They end up having a good interaction. They end up not really arguing. End up helping each other with land and stuff like that. And some kind of way towards the end, Jacob just ends up wrestling with God, and so he's renamed Israel. And I think there's a lot of different ways that he was wrestling with God throughout the story, but the way they put it was that he had a physical wrestle with God. It was an entity or a being that was God-like, and he wrestled with that, and he didn't want to let it go until they blessed him again. Maybe he felt like he had lost some of his blessings or whatever like that. But that's how the story ends. Nothing really impactful really happens, but we're gonna move on further into Genesis, and it's gonna follow the story of Jacob's kids. And we know these kids because he's had all these kids with all these different women. So that's what we're gonna pick up at in the next video.